A divorced single mom got fired from her bank secretary job in 1958. 21 years later, she sold her side hustle for $47.5 million, and her teenage helper went on to invent MTV. Her name was Bette Nesmith Graham. Born in Dallas in 1924, Bette was a high school dropout. She married a soldier named Warren Nesmith at 19, gave birth to a son named Michael in 1942, and watched her marriage collapse when her husband came back from World War II. By 1946, she was a 22-year-old single mother with no diploma, no career, and no plan. She earned her GED in night school. She took a typing job. By 1951, she was the executive secretary to the chairman of the board of the Texas Bank and Trust in Dallas, earning about $300 a month. She was good at her job. She was also a terrible typist. The Texas Bank had just installed brand new IBM electric typewriters. The keys were sensitive. Carbon film ribbons left ink that could not be erased cleanly. A single typo could mean retyping an entire page from scratch. Her son Michael later remembered watching his mother sit at the kitchen table in the evenings, trying to fix mistakes, sometimes bursting into tears of panic over the fear of being fired. Bette had one side hustle that saved her. She earned extra money painting holiday window displays at the bank. One day, watching herself paint over a mistake on a window, calmly, with a little brush, no eraser needed, she had a thought. "An artist never corrects by erasing," she said later. "They paint over the error." That night, she went to the public library, looked up a recipe for tempera paint, and went home to her kitchen blender. She mixed up a thin white liquid. She poured it into an empty nail polish bottle. She tinted it to match her bank's stationery. She brought it to work the next morning with a small watercolor brush. When she made a typo, she dabbed a little white paint over it, let it dry, and typed right over the spot. Her boss never noticed, for 5 years, but her fellow secretaries did. They asked her for some. Then their friends asked. Then strangers from other offices started showing up. By 1956, she was making batches in her kitchen and selling them out of nail polish bottles. She called it Mistake Out. Her son, Michael, by then 14 years old, and his friends filled the bottles in the garage for $1 an hour. In 1958, she got fired. She had absent-mindedly typed her own company's name, Mistake Out Company, onto a letter for her boss. He sent her packing. It turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to her. She renamed the product Liquid Paper, patented it, and devoted herself to it full-time. A 1958 mention in a trade magazine called The Office brought in 500 inquiries from across the country. General Electric placed an order for 400 bottles in 3 colors, 4 times her entire monthly production. By 1968, she was selling 1 million bottles a year. By the mid-1970s, 25 million bottles a year. She built her headquarters in Dallas and ran it the way she wished her old bosses had run things. The Liquid Paper Corporation had an on-site library, an on-site childcare center for her employees' kids. She filled management with women. She integrated her staff. She hired employees with disabilities, including blind workers and wheelchair users. She drew her org chart as a circle, not a pyramid. She paid for 75% of any employee's continuing education. She let employee committees vote on company decisions. It was the late 1970s. Most of corporate America was decades behind her. Then, in 1975, her second husband, Robert Graham, whom she had married in 1962 and brought into the business, divorced her and tried to push her out of her own company. He changed her formula. He cut off her royalties. Bette, sick and exhausted, fought back and held on to a 49% stake. In 1979, with her health failing, Bette sold Liquid Paper to Gillette for $47.5 million in stock, about $173 million in today's money, plus a royalty on every single bottle sold for the next 20 years. 6 months later, on May 12, 1980, she had a stroke and died. She was 56 years old. Half of her fortune went to 2 foundations she had built to support women in business and women in the arts. The other half went to her son. That son had spent his teenage years filling liquid paper bottles in her garage. By the time of his mother's death, he was already famous, but for something else entirely. His name was Michael Nesmith. He was the wool cap-wearing guitarist of the Monkees, one of the biggest pop groups of the 1960s. What happened next is the part nobody tells. Michael took his liquid paper royalties and used them to fund a small experimental TV show he had dreamed up. A show that played short promotional films set to popular songs. He called it Pop Clips. It aired in 1980 and 1981 on a cable network called Nickelodeon. Pop Clips was the direct prototype for MTV, which launched in August 1981. Industry historians credit Michael Nesmith's work with helping invent the modern music video format that would transform pop music for the next 30 years. So the next time you see an old liquid paper bottle in a desk drawer, remember, a divorced single mother who got fired from her secretary job for being a bad typist invented a kitchen blender solution, built one of the most progressive workplaces in 1970s America, sold her company for nearly $50 million, and her son used the money to help invent MTV. Bette Graham proved something her old boss had failed to notice for 5 years. The mistakes weren't the problem. They were the opportunity. Have you ever turned something you thought was a failure into the best thing that ever happened to you?